Now to that breaking news. A driver hit by gunfire during an attempted carjacking, and law enforcement wants to know who pulled the trigger. Ugochi Iloka joins us live from the scene just off FM 1960. And Ugochi, what are you learning this morning?
We're Kimberly. Harris County Sheriff deputies tell us that a 19-year-old homeless man was sleeping in his car when an attempted carjacking happened and suspects shot at him. We understand he was able to drive himself to safety to this parking lot that we're at right now. Now, this is...
Listen, man. I gotta admit, man. I know it's bad, man. I know it's bad. But, I mean, golly, you can't sleep in your car, man, without getting carjacked, man. I mean, it's almost as if these guys are riding around in cars hunting 24/7 for victims. And listen, you saw the video a week ago, where I was arguing with Male Monkey about, should a woman be able to sit in her car in her own driveway? He said no. You shouldn't expect that. You should be able to expect to sit in the car in your driveway when you pull into your driveway, you shouldn't have to get right out of the car. This is where we're at. This is where we're at, America. And it's one group doing this. And I promise you it won't be mentioned in this video.
Self to safety to this parking lot that we're at right now. Now, this is video of that scene of the car there. This happened a little more than an hour ago. Investigators say the teen was sleeping somewhere on Cypress Station in his car when two guys walked up and knocked on his car window. They say when he didn't open his car and drove off, deputies say the suspect shot at him. 2 bullets grazed his head. The victim...
Okay. And that's something I talked about as well. Running or peeling off, they're still going to shoot at you. Okay? So they walk up to you, try to carjack you. You peel off. You're 20 yards, 30 yards away now, going off into the night. And they're shooting at you. People that never laid eyes on you to that moment are now banging at you, thumping at you. So basically, some guys you'd never seen before walked up, tapped on your window, you pulled off, and they shot you in the head twice. There, I fixed it.
Ago, investigators say the teen was sleeping somewhere on Cypress Station in his car when 2 guys walked up and knocked on his car window. They say when he didn't open his car and drove off, deputies say the suspect shot at him. 2 bullets grazed his head. The victim, we're told, was able to drive here to Harbor Freight Tools, and deputies were called out immediately, but the suspects, they say, got away. They're not sure if the suspects got away on foot or in a car. Now, Harris County Sheriff deputies believe that this was an attempted carjacking linked to possibly a few other attempted carjackings that happened overnight in this same area. We're also told that that victim was taken to a nearby hospital and is supposed to be okay and pull through. But, of course, right now they're actively searching for those suspects. Anyone with information is asked to call the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Kimberly?
Ugochi Iloka live for us this morning.
Breaking this morning, a close call for a woman in Brooklyn after a bullet went right through a window, hitting her in the hand. The 37-year-old woman told police that she was shot while lying in her bed in an apartment on Troy Avenue in Crown Heights. She was taken to the hospital to be checked out. Police...
How do you make an arrest in that case? How do you make an arrest in that case? There's so many shootings in these areas. So many young men walking around with guns, recklessly shooting. How do you make an arrest in that case? Just some woman laying in the bed got shot. The trauma. Just imagine the next night after she comes home from the hospital. The nightmares, the uneasy feelings, not only for her, from the other people. A guy got shot in my building. 2 Sunmen were arguing, got into it at the gas station across the street from my building. They chased the guy, shot at him, and he got hit and died around the corner. He kept running, he died around the corner. But one of the bullets hit a guy that I know in the stomach as he was sitting in his house, in his apartment. And that just like shook everybody in the building up. Like, Jesus Christ. We're pestilence. What they talk about in the Bible, the pestilence, that's us.
Man accused of stabbing several homeless people in New York City is behind bars this morning. Police arrested 40-year-old Trevon Murphy yesterday. Officers say someone spotted him sitting at a bus stop in Harlem and called police. They recognized the clothes he was wearing from police surveillance photos. Investigators say he is behind 3 separate stabbings over the past week in Manhattan. 1 person died, 2 others.
The world's best papa. I don't even know if that qualifies as irony. Like, there's got to be a stronger word, because irony doesn't even encapsulate that. A Sunman out wandering the streets in the wee hours of the morning, randomly stabbing homeless people as they sleep while wearing a shirt that said the world's best papa. Well, let's just break some things down that I promise you none of these things register to the average Sunman, to the average one. When you're wandering the streets at night and you ain't at work, you just ain't in the house, but you ain't at work, you just wandering the streets. That's not good fatherhood. You need to be at the house, protecting the kids, being there in the morning when they wake up, being there at night for bedtime, bath, keeping yourself safe so you can continue to be the world's best papa. Not wandering the streets of one of the most dangerous cities in the country at night. I'm just saying, man. And I promise you, this is how bad it is. That does not register. What will register before that is some victim narrative about how, it ain't enough jobs or mental health or something like that. This is the world's best papa, man. Come on, man. You gotta be in the house with your kids, man. At least, man. Stab people at some other time. Stab people while they're at school or something, man. You can't be out in the middle of the night doing this stuff, man. You the world's best dad, man.
Our other top story here at 5, an innocent bystander shot and killed trying to stop a hit-and-run driver.
It happened during a chain reaction crash on West Outer Drive in Greenfield on Detroit's west side. Megan Woods joins us live to walk us through what happened. Megan?
Yeah, Kimberly, Devin, the details surrounding this situation and what happened are starting to unfold hour by hour. We know that this started as a 3-car accident. Now we're learning more about the man who was shot and killed. We're also learning about the family that's caught in the middle of all of this.
Not only could one person have been dead, you could have been easily been burying 4 people.
Denise Wallace says her daughter-in-law was driving home with Denise's 8- and 7-year-old granddaughters in the backseat of this white Dodge SUV.
She said the light turned green. She looked at the light. She looked both ways. She went to proceed to take off, and she said all that she knew is wham. And she said the car rolled 3 times. She said after the first roll, she thought she was dead. She started praying.
Then they heard gunshots. Denise says the mother is still in the hospital, and the 8-year-old has a broken collarbone and pelvis bone. She's having to visit her in the hospital.
And I'm coming down here because my granddaughter, she's serious. She's very injured. It's nothing to play with. They riding around here with these guns. They shooting and it's just crazy.
Well, sis, this is the jungle that you created for all of us. And I promise you that even though she said that, the next Sunman that shoots at a cop and gets shot, she'll be on Twitter or Facebook talking about, man, look how they doing us, man. Racism still alive, man. I thought we moved past this, man. They need better training, man. Just get rid of the police, man. They talk that. Every time one of these guys that was probably speed down the street driving recklessly and plowed into her daughter and her children, and then got out and started shooting and killed somebody. That's the darnest thing about these sisters. And you wouldn't notice if you weren't a Sun person, if you didn't have Facebook, if these weren't your Facebook friends, or these weren't the people that came up in your Facebook timeline when you were scrolling through Facebook, or these weren't the people that, you followed on Twitter, or when you clicked on a tweet, these weren't the people in the replies talking this type of stuff. It will blow your mind that this group, this woman, they're the wokest group on the planet. By far. They're more woke than pasty liberals. By far. It's blackity black, 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 black for them. And especially if he's a criminal. And this incident doesn't even put a dent in that wokeness.
And I'm coming down here because my granddaughter, she's serious. She's very injured. It's nothing to play with. They riding around here with these guns. They shooting and it's just crazy.
After further investigation, Detroit police say a Dodge Challenger struck a vehicle that struck another vehicle. That includes Denise's family's car. People in the Challenger tried to run and leave the scene, but a witness tried to convince them to stay. People from that Challenger shot at that witness and killed him.
Why, man? Why, bruh? You can't talk to these people. Oh. So, you just thought it was only the police that had bad interactions with them. Now I get it. Okay. I see why I'm seeing these stories with these people doing just the most bonkers things. Like the guys in St. Louis that approach the guys that are still in the car. Trying to get a Sunman who's just plowed. That Sunman has all types of drugs and an arsenal of weapons in that car. You think he's probably got 5 different drugs in his system. You think he's going to stay on the scene he's probably got 7 warrants. So he's got warrants, he's got guns, he's got drugs in his system. And you're going to try to tell him to stay on the scene of an accident in which a bunch of kids was hurt and cars flipped over? And you lost your life over that? Something that had no chance of happening. There was nothing this guy could have said to make that son man stay on the scene. Even if none of the things I just listed were true. Even if the son man didn't have a record. Even if he didn't have any drugs on him. If he didn't have drugs in the system. Even if he didn't have guns on him. He ain't staying on the scene. He gone.
People in the Challenger tried to run and leave the scene, but a witness tried to convince them to stay. People from that Challenger shot at that witness and killed him. The man had a CPL, and before he died, he was able to shoot at the group of people. The person shot is in the hospital, but under arrest.
So he was able to shoot back, and he wounded one of the people. He had a concealed carry permit. So maybe that's why he... But was it drawn? This is my thing. Okay, you're going to play Billy Badass with some sun men or some sun teens. Because you got the concealed carry permit. Is it drawn? Because you ain't ready to... This is my thing. A lot of people... This is why concealed carry doesn't work against sun men. This element of sun men. This element. Are you going to pull out first and start blasting? No. You ain't built like that. That's not how you're approaching the situation. Whether you're asking them to leave or somewhere, or you're asking them to stay somewhere. Like in this case. You ain't pulling out and just blasting on them, and that's what it requires. Because as soon as they hear something they don't like, they're gonna blow your head off. And then you pulling out, you all hit up, and then you pulling out as you're dying.
After further investigation, Detroit police say a Dodge Challenger struck a vehicle that struck another vehicle. That includes Denise's family's car. People in the Challenger tried to run and leave the scene, but a witness tried to convince them to stay. People from that Challenger shot at that witness and killed him. The man had a CPL, and before he died, he was able to shoot at the group of people. The person shot is in the hospital, but under arrest. At this point, Denise is grateful her family is alive, but is frustrated that they're even having to go through this.
Because there were 3 injured people in that white vehicle that no one ever took the time to even mention about. I mean, it's like, who cares? Well, we care.
$1 gazillion worth of damage, 30 people dead, the erosion of our judicial system, the neutering of our police. Who cares about that? You sisters didn't. All you cared about was your dating pool, making sure your dating options weren't taken away for the crimes they commit. So it's hard to care when they're driving down the street, residential streets, 100 miles per hour, and they plow into your daughter and your grandchildren. And then they kill a witness who was asking them to not flee the scene. And then one of them gets shot by the witness before he dies. And then the story is all about the shooting and very little about your daughter and your grandchildren that are in the hospital. Do you understand, sister, that people are going through this every single day in every city, dozens of times over, because of these sun men that y'all have unleashed onto this country? They're going around ruining lives. That's basically what they do for a living. That's their occupation, ruining lives. They literally go around and ruin lives all day.
because there were 3 injured people in that white vehicle that no one ever took the time to even mention about. I mean, it's like, who cares? Well, we care.
Denise says again that they're extremely grateful. Her grandson, his birthday is today. And so she says that mother is so grateful to be alive, to be able to share that day with the rest of her family. Back to you.
Just awful.